No, remission of VAT happens when, for whatever reason, the commissioner feels that they can waive remission, they can waive the VAT either partially or in full, or any other tax, that they can waive it and therefore reduce the amount payable by the taxpayer. So in this case of remission of VAT, or rebate is the actual amount by which the commissioner has reduced the tax. So like if you're supposed to pay 100,000 and the commissioner feels, for example, that the goods with respect to which you're paying input VAT were obtained in the public interest. For example, you bought stuff that you later donated to a disaster fund in case of a disaster, or to a refugee camp in case of such donations. So for that, he's going to remit, he's going to waive that. Of course, that is done in writing. And you must have notified the commissioner before you bought the goods, so that he is aware and he's able to remit that. So we're going to read from the Act circumstances under which the commissioner remits or waives either in partial or in full the tax that is due from a taxpayer. Remission can be granted to and in respect of, we are reading from the Act, A, capital goods excluding motor vehicles of a total value of not less than 1 million shillings per investment, imported or purchased locally for new investments or for the expansion of investments. This can be connected to the fiscal policy objectives, where it was said that in fiscal policy, it is a role, one of the incentives or the roles that tax plays in the economy is ensuring that there is enough tax signals and shift signals in the economy to encourage investments, both local and foreign investments. So in order to encourage businesses to expand, the commissioner waives the VAT that is payable on the machinery and everything that they need to be able to expand. B, taxable goods for emergency relief purposes for use in specific areas and within a specified period, imported or purchased locally by the government or its approved agent, a non-governmental organization or a relief agency authorized by the minister responsible for disaster management, where the goods are for use in areas where a natural disaster or calamity has occurred in Kenya, like excessive flooding or a fire or other disasters. The goods are intended for use in officially recognized refugee camps in Kenya, like Dadaab. 3, the goods are household utensils, foodstuffs, materials for provision of shelter or equipment, and materials for health, sanitary, or education purposes. 4, in case of a natural disaster or calamity, the importation of or purchase locally is made within 6 months or such further period, not exceeding 12 months, as the commissioner may permit in each case. Part C, when the commissioner can waive the tax or remit it, goods including motor vehicles and aircraft and taxable services imported or purchased by any company which has been granted an oil exploration or oil prospecting license in accordance with a production sharing contract with the government of Kenya and in accordance with the provisions of the Petroleum Act. So that is the likes of Ngamia 1, Ngamia 2. D, capital equipment and machinery imported or purchased solely for use in the manufacture of goods in a licensed customs bonded factory for export only. Now, if you're manufacturing under bond, it means you've already entered into an official contract with the customs department that everything you produce shall be for export. So the date you breach that or you start selling locally, that bond is cancelled and therefore you start paying taxes like every other taxable person. Then E, official aid funded projects. F, goods including motor vehicles imported or purchased by any company which has been granted a geothermal resource license in accordance with a production sharing contract with the government of Kenya and in accordance with the provisions of the Geothermal Resources Act. Currently, we have Kenya Power doing that. G, Goods for official use by Kenya Armed Forces. Goods supplied as ship stores to the national carrier of any airline designated and under any air services agreement between the government and a foreign government. Then H, goods imported under bond for manufacture of exports, indirect exports, goods free of import duty, goods for use in official aid-funded projects, or goods for use in manufacture of goods which are in turn supplied to another manufacturer of goods under the Essential Goods Support Program. Then I, taxable goods and services supplied by a registered person for use in the construction or expansion of private universities, excluding hostels and staff housing, with the approval of the minister on the recommendation of the minister responsible for education. The minister is what we currently call the CS. Taxable goods and services supplied by a registered person to a specific project approved by the CS on the recommendation of the minister or CS responsible for housing. Then K, you're told the commissioner may grant remission of additional tax in individual cases where he is satisfied that the remission is justified, provided that where additional tax exceeds 1.5 million, the remission shall be subject to prior approval by the minister. So in short, you're saying the minister will waive or will reduce the amount of tax payable by a taxpayer if he feels that it is in the public interest to do so. That's the key thing. So remission is done in public interest. The commissioner, with reasons, reduces the amount of VAT payable by the taxpayer or by the registered person.